Before we begin, if you believe dogs are far more than pets, if you've ever looked into your dog's eyes and felt like there was an entire, unspoken world staring back at you, then make sure to subscribe to Dogaholic. Give this video a like and tell me in the comments your dog's name and one habit they do that you've never fully understood. Around here, we don't just talk about dogs as companions. We talk about them as emotional beings, as living souls with ancient instincts, tender fears, and a language so subtle that most people miss it entirely. And if that quiet, hidden side of dogs fascinates you, stay with me. Because tonight, we're going much deeper than training tips. We're stepping into the silent conversation your dog has been trying to have with you all along. Pull up a chair on the porch for a moment, let the sun dip low over the fields, and look at the dog lying at your feet. To the world, he's just a pet, a companion for the trail or the hearth. But you and I know better. We know that behind those amber eyes is a complex world, a landscape of ancient instincts, modern anxieties, and a silent language that most humans walk right past without ever hearing. I've spent my life in the trenches of canine behavior, analyzing not just the neuroscience, but the emotional heartbeat of these animals. And today, I want to invite you into a deeper understanding of what it truly means to live a co-constructed life with your dog. This isn't just about training. It isn't just about obedience. It's about a complete shift in how we perceive the living, breathing soul at the other end of the leash. The 3 pillars of the canine soul. A new framework. When we talk about a dog's well-being, we have to look beyond surface-level obedience and ask a more important question. What does it actually feel like to be that dog? Science is finally catching up to what devoted dog lovers have sensed for generations. Dogs have fundamental psychological needs that mirror our own. One of the most powerful frameworks for understanding this is self-determination theory, or SDT, which suggests that for a dog to truly thrive, not just survive, they need 3 things: autonomy, competence, and relatedness. Autonomy doesn't mean chaos. It doesn't mean letting your dog run wild without guidance. It means creating a life where your dog has meaningful choices. Think about how often we control every detail of their day: where they walk, when they eat, where they rest, what they're allowed to sniff, how fast they move, when they must stop. For many dogs, life becomes a long chain of interruptions and restrictions. But when a dog is given small, safe choices, choosing which direction to explore on a walk, whether to rest by the window or beside the couch, whether to engage or pause, they begin to develop confidence from within. A dog who feels they have some say in their world builds resilience. A dog denied all agency can drift into learned helplessness, where they stop trying altogether because experience has taught them that nothing they do matters. Competence is the feeling of being effective in the world. You can see it in a dog's eyes the moment something clicks, when they solve a puzzle, understand a cue, or successfully navigate a challenge. That bright expression, that eager re-engagement, that little burst of pride, those are not small things. Reward-based training supports this beautifully because it invites the dog into the learning process as an active participant. It encourages curiosity, experimentation, and emotional safety. Aversive methods may suppress behavior quickly, but often at a terrible cost. The dog learns less about how to think and more about how to avoid being wrong. Over time, that can restrict learning, dampen expression, and layer the nervous system with chronic stress. Then there is relatedness, the bond, the invisible thread, the emotional circuitry between you and your dog. This may be the deepest pillar of all. Dogs are not simply social animals, they are attachment animals. They are biologically wired to orient toward us, read us, and regulate with us. When you share a long look with your dog or a hand rests quietly on their shoulder, something extraordinary can happen. Your bodies soften together. Your breathing aligns. Your nervous systems begin to synchronize. This is more than affection. This is co-regulation. You are not just your dog's owner. In many ways, you are the emotional climate they live inside. Question for the comments. Think about your dog's routine today. Where is one small place you could offer them more choice, more voice, more autonomy? The anatomy of the quiet dog. Decoding emotional shutdown. One of the most dangerous myths in the dog world is the idea that a quiet dog is automatically a calm dog. Silence can be misleading. A house without barking may look peaceful from the outside, but if we turn on a camera and watch what happens after the front door closes, the truth can be heartbreaking. Dogs experiencing separation-related problems often move through waves of distress. Research and lived experience both show that barking, pacing, scratching, or destruction often explode in those first minutes after a person leaves. But then something confusing happens. The dog goes still. The noise stops. To an uninformed observer, it may look like the dog has settled. But internally, many of these dogs have not calmed down at all. Their heart rate may still be elevated. Their breathing may remain shallow and rapid. Their muscles may stay tense. They have not found peace. They have simply run out of overt ways to express panic. This is what we call emotional shutdown. It is not relaxation. It is not emotional maturity. It is often a profound collapse under the weight of unresolvable stress. The dog may appear glazed over, frozen, heavy, or strangely absent. They may lie in one place for a long stretch without truly resting. This state can look easy to the human eye, but it can actually reflect tonic immobility, a survival response when the nervous system believes there is no escape. And this is why punishment-based tools are so dangerous in these moments. Shock collars, bark deterrents, harsh corrections, these do not heal anxiety. They merely suppress visible symptoms while deepening internal distress. A dog silenced this way is not better. They are simply suffering more quietly. Question for the comments: have you ever seen your dog become eerily still in a stressful moment and later realize that stillness may not have meant calm at all? The invisible thread: why your stress is their stress. Now we have to talk about something many dog guardians feel, but few fully understand. Your dog does not just live beside your emotions, they live inside their echo. Studies on stress physiology have found that cortisol levels, one of the body's major stress hormones, often synchronize between dogs and their humans. And perhaps the most revealing part is this: the human's stress often predicts the dog's stress more than the other way around. In other words, your dog may be carrying a physiological reflection of your internal state. That means the rushed morning, the tense shoulders, the distracted goodbye, the quiet dread before leaving the house. Your dog may feel all of it. Not because they are being dramatic, not because they are too attached, but because they are exquisitely attuned to you through a neuroceptive feedback loop. They are reading microsignals in your body long before you say a word. This helps explain why certain departures feel heavier than others, and why reunions matter so much. The long, sorrowful goodbye at the door is not always the core issue. Often, it is the emotional meaning surrounding absence and return. If every return is full of frantic arousal, loud tension, frustration over damage, or overwhelming emotion, your dog may begin to learn that separation is part of a larger cycle of instability. A dog uncertain about reunion often becomes more distressed by departure. The biological armor: hormones, health, and behavior. Behavior does not float in isolation. It is anchored in biology. And too often, we try to solve emotional struggles with training plans while ignoring the body carrying those emotions. Take hormones, for example. For years, many people were told that spaying or neutering would automatically calm a dog down. But in fearful, anxious, or reactive dogs, the picture can be far more complicated. Hormones like testosterone and estrogen do not just influence reproduction. They also shape development, confidence, resilience, and nervous system balance. In some dogs, removing those hormones during a behavioral crisis may not soothe instability. It may lock insecurity more deeply into place. Then there are the unintended consequences of breeding. Miniaturized breeds and trendy body types are often adored for their appearance, but selective breeding can place enormous pressure on the neurological system. Some dogs are not overreacting because they are badly behaved. They may be moving through the world with a nervous system predisposed toward hypervigilance, poor impulse control, or chronic sensitivity. What looks stubborn or dramatic may, in truth, be neurological strain. And beyond genetics, there is environment. The grass, the lawn chemicals, the scented cleaners, the pesticides, the invisible toxins in the spaces we call normal. Our dogs meet them nose first. They are closer to the ground, more exposed, more absorbent, and often the earliest sentinels of environmental harm. Sometimes what we label as an endless allergy or mysterious irritation is not simply bad luck. It may be a message about the world we've built around them. Question for the comments. Has your dog ever struggled with a lingering skin issue, unexplained reactivity, or a health mystery that made you start looking differently at their environment? The path to clarity, systematic desensitization. So how do we help a dog who is drowning in the primal mind, the alarm system, the fear circuitry, the survival reflexes, find their way back into thought, safety, and trust? The answer is rarely force, it is rarely speed, and it is never shame. The gold standard for separation-related distress is systematic desensitization. That means exposing the dog to tiny, carefully measured moments of separation that stay below the threshold of panic. We do not push through distress. We do not ask the dog to get used to it. We build tolerance in increments so small that safety can actually take root. If your dog tenses when you touch the keys, that may be the starting point. If they lick their lips when you stand up and walk toward the door, that matters. If they yawn, freeze, pace, or watch you too closely, those are not random quirks. They are data. They are pieces of the language. And when we listen carefully enough, we can work at the level where learning is still possible. Even enrichment tools require discernment. A stuffed food toy can be wonderful for many dogs, but if used only as a departure distraction, it can accidentally mask the early signs of distress. The dog eats while anxious, the food ends, and the full force of panic arrives. In some cases, the treat itself becomes a predictor of abandonment. Real healing is not about distraction. It is about changing the dog's internal prediction. It is about creating such a strong history of safe departures and safe returns that the nervous system begins to update its beliefs. Eventually, the dog no longer braces for catastrophe every time the human disappears. They begin to expect return. Living with a struggling dog can be exhausting. It can stretch your heart, your patience, your finances, and your sense of freedom. Some guardians feel trapped in their own homes, some feel guilty, some feel overwhelmed. But one truth matters more than all the rest. Your dog is not trying to make your life harder. They are trying to survive an experience that feels hard to them. So we owe them more than management. We owe them stewardship. That means protecting their sleep, because a sleep-deprived dog is far more emotionally fragile. It means recognizing silent stress signals before they become crises. It means leaving behind outdated dominance myths and stepping into relationships built on trust, observation, and mutual regulation. It means seeking qualified help when needed, especially from professionals who understand separation anxiety, trauma-informed behavior work, and the emotional lives of dogs. Your dog is speaking all the time, in the frantic greeting, in the stillness that isn't calm, in the glance over the shoulder, in the refusal to eat, in the deep sigh at your feet, in the restless pacing after you pick up your keys. These are not random acts. They are pieces of a living sentence your dog has been trying to finish for a very long time. And when we finally learn to read that sentence, when we stop seeing behavior as defiance and start seeing it as communication, everything changes. The leash feels different. The home feels different. The bond deepens beyond affection into understanding. And that may be the greatest gift a dog can offer us. Not just companionship, but a chance to become gentler, more observant, and more worthy of the trust they place in us. If this video helped you see your dog in a new light, subscribe to Dogaholic, like the video, and share it with someone who truly loves dogs. And in the comments, tell me this. What is the most surprising thing you've learned about your dog's hidden language? I'd love to read your story, and I'll be replying to as many comments as I can. Because the more we listen to dogs, the better we become at loving them the way they've deserved all along.